Hi everyone, it's Michelle. Welcome back. So today I am going to do a product review of the Beenigma All-in-One Face Cream. Beenigma contacted me a few months ago actually and asked me if I wanted to review this product. And at that time I was testing some other skincare products and I had recently introduced Retin-A and my skin was just a mess and I didn't want to, sort of add yet another unknown product into my skincare routine. So I said no, and more recently they contacted me again and asked me if I would review the product. And I am still looking for a really good face moisturizer, and so I agreed to review the product this time. So this product was sent to me. I did not purchase the product. However, I do want to say it is pretty rare that I agree to accept a product from a company for review. And when I accept a product for review, I never agree to do a video. The company has to understand that if the product doesn't work for me or I don't think it's a really good product, I'm not interested in making a video to talk about it. I don't want to badmouth a bunch of companies, so I'm not really interested in talking about products that I don't think are very good. I'm only interested in talking about products that work really well for me or that I think will work really well for other people. So let's jump in and get started and talk about this product. The first thing I'm going to do is talk about the ingredients in the product and why they're supposed to be beneficial. And then I'll talk about some of their clinical results because those are interesting. And then I'll talk about how it's been working for me. So let's talk about the product. The product is called Beenigma. It is a face cream, facial moisturizer cream. And what's in the product? So the two sort of main ingredients that are supposed to be really good for your skin that are in here are bee venom and manuka honey. So let's talk about the bee venom. So why is bee venom sort of one of the new trends in skincare? So when you put bee venom in skincare, it causes a slight irritation to the skin. And when you irritate your skin, the skin thinks the cells are damaged, which they are because they're irritated, and it turns them over, and then the skin produces more collagen and elastin to repair itself. And that's what we need to have happen as we get older, right? We want our dead skin cells to turn over, our older skin cells to turn over, and for the skin to produce, more collagen and elastin. When the skin has more collagen and elastin, we look like we're younger, right? It's firmer, it's more plump, that kind of thing. So that's the reason the bee venom is a good product, a good ingredient for this skincare. And I will say that this is a very specific bee venom. It is from bees from New Zealand. No bees are harmed in the collection of the venom, and if you're curious about how that happens, you can go to their website. I'll put a link below, and there's an interview with the beekeeper, and they kind of show how that process works. They don't injure the bees at all collecting the venom. And if you are allergic to bee venom, then you should not use this product. So I should say that as well. So the bee venom, it's a very powerful ingredient for generating collagen and elastin. Okay, so then it also has manuka honey in it, which is different than regular honey. Manuka honey also comes from New Zealand because that is where the manuka plant or flower is found. And bees that feed on this manuka flower, the honey that they produce is higher in antibacterial properties, it's higher in vitamins and minerals for the skin, that kind of thing. So manuka honey is better for us and our skin than regular honey is, and it has way more antioxidants as well above regular honey. And then also the honey that they use is a very high grade of honey. Honey is graded by numbers, and when you get above 20, it's considered sort of like a medical grade, and they use 20 plus. The honey that they use is all 20 plus. So really, really good ingredients in here. There's also some shea butter and some almond oil in here as well to increase hydration in the skin. So let's talk about some of their clinicals. Their clinical results, they did a 30-day clinical trial where they actually, hired a scientific clinic to measure results. And what they found was a 34% improvement in wrinkle depth in the face and a 52% improvement in wrinkle depth around the eyes for people who were using this product. The results are supposed to be cumulative, so I think the longer you use it, the results might improve above that. And then when they interviewed people who were using the product, and those results aren't quite, aren't nearly as scientific. However, you know, it's important to see what people think when they're using the product. 95% of people felt that their skin looked more youthful. 90% said the appearance of their fine lines and wrinkles was reduced. And 85% said their skin seemed lifted and smoother. So those were all really good statistics, I thought, and so I was very interested to try the product. So let's talk a little bit about the product itself. It comes in a glass jar. It is a 1.7 ounce jar. And the product itself is a very thick cream. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but I'll get a little bit out for you. So it's very thick. You can see it doesn't, you know, it doesn't fall off the Q-tip or anything. There it is. It's a very thick white cream. And so when I use this product, I typically will take a pea-size amount, just about this much, and I'll sort of emulsify it in my hands, and then I will press it on my skin. It is quite thick. So when I first tried the product, I thought, oh, I might not like this, or I'm going to have to save this for evening or winter time because it feels very thick when you put it on the skin. But I will say that within 3 or 4 minutes, it is completely absorbed into my skin. There's no greasy feeling. There, you know, the skin is just plumped. It feels very plumped and very smooth. I would say when I put this on, my skin feels extremely plumped. It almost feels like fatter. And it feels very smooth. That's how I would describe it. Now, there is a little bit of silicone in here, but it isn't sort of silicone smooth. It's not that slippery smooth. My skin just feels really smooth and very sort of plump is how I would describe it. There is a very strong scent to this. It's not, I don't believe there's any added fragrance in this product. I believe the scent comes from probably the honey. It's a very sort of honey florally scent, and it is quite strong. It does dissipate over time, but I'm very scent sensitive, so I noticed that right away, that the scent is quite strong. Not strong enough to keep me away from it, but if you are very sensitive to scent, you'll want to keep that in mind. My first few days of using this, I felt maybe slightly more than mild stinging, itching sensation, and so I thought also that I wasn't, you know, maybe I shouldn't be using it because I didn't like that sensation. But after 4 or 5 days, either I got used to it or my skin stopped. I stopped feeling that sensation. So if you try this product and you get that sensation, that happened to me as well, and I didn't get redness or anything from that, but I definitely felt a tingling, itching sensation. So I have been using this day and night for 5 weeks. It goes very smoothly on the skin. Like I said, in 3 or 4 minutes, it is completely absorbed. And if I had to describe it, I would say that my skin feels plump and smooth. It's a very smooth feel to the skin. It lays very, very well under my makeup, which kind of surprised me because it's so thick, but again, it does completely absorb. I don't get any oilier in my T-zone than I do with any other product I use, so it's not creating any additional oil on my skin or anything like that. I actually really like the way my skin feels and looks while I'm using it. It feels so plump and so smooth that I actually, right at the end, I always take a little extra and press it like right here where I could use my skin to be plumper and smoother. I really love the way it has made this skin look right here around my eyes. Now, I think it's too emollient. I wouldn't take it in here because you could get some melia, but I have been using it day and night right here over my eye cream, and I just love the way it sort of seals everything in and makes the skin feel so smooth. So I have really, really enjoyed using this product. And I am going to continue to use it. I'm actually very excited to see how this helps me in the winter time because it's so hydrating. My skin feels, like I said, it's so plump and hydrated and smooth. I love the way my skin feels with this. I will also say it's made in New Zealand. If I haven't said that, it is cruelty-free, and there are no parabens in here. So for those of you concerned about parabens, there are none in here. So I really like the product, and I am actually going to continue to use it. I am very fickle about my face products, and I have been sort of on the hunt for a good moisturizer to replace my Lift Lab moisturizer, because that one is so expensive, and I'm going to continue to use this one and see how it goes. I've really, like I said, I've really enjoyed it. So Beenigma has offered, the product is quite expensive. It's $129 for 1.7 ounces. However, this product will last a long time because a little goes a long way. I don't know if you can see. I've used probably less than a third, maybe only about a quarter of the jar, and I've been using this day and night for more than 5 weeks now. So I do think this will last a long time. And Beenigma has offered a 25% discount as well if you purchase the product through my link, and I will put that below as well. So you can get a bit of a discount. I also wanted to say that if you decide to try the product and you don't like it, Beenigma offers a 60-day money-back guarantee. So, you know, you can feel comfortable trying it, and if you don't like it, you can get your money back, or if it doesn't work for you, if it irritates your skin or anything like that, they will refund your money. So I think that is a great statement from a company as well. I like that they give you 60 days. I like to tell people, when you try skincare, the idea behind skincare is that you have to be consistent. So don't buy this and think that in 3 days you're going to see this great difference in your skin, because you really need to use skincare every day consistently for a significant period of time. I like to go 30 to 45 days to judge a product. I think your skin cells turn over once every 42 days or something like that. So if you're going to try the product, give it the time it needs to really sort of show a difference. I really like how my skin looks. I do think it looks, I think it looks firmer. I don't know if it is firmer, but I do think, like, here it looks firmer, and right here it looks firmer. It's almost like, I would describe this as like my skin feels fatter, which none of us want to be fatter, but if my face skin can look fatter, I like that idea. So yeah, I'm loving the product. If you're interested in purchasing the product, again, I will put a link below to where you can get it at a 25% discount. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. I would be happy to try and answer any questions that I can. Also, I will put a link to their website, so if you want to read a little bit further on the product or anything like that, that information will be there as well. So that is it for today. I hope everybody has a fantastic day, and I will talk to you all again soon.